wouldn't believe it unless it came straight from federal records. In the quiet town of Grain Valley, Missouri, a man stepped out of a car holding an unexpected weapon for a gang attack, an axe handle. Not a gun, not a knife, but a heavy wooden handle. He wasn't swinging at random. This man was a known member of one of the most feared motorcycle clubs in the country, the Pagans Motorcycle Club. That day he had one goal: payback. In broad daylight outside a local business, he ambushed a rival club member in a calculated, targeted attack. This wasn't a bar fight or a spur-of-the-moment brawl. It was organized, deliberate, and backed by months of tension. What makes this story stand out is that it isn't gossip or rumor. It's fully documented in federal court filings, supported by surveillance footage, witness statements, and confessions. The Pagans MC began in Maryland in the late 1950s as a motorcycle enthusiast group. Over time, it evolved into a violent outlaw club with a strong presence along the East Coast and Midwest. Law enforcement classifies them as a criminal organization involved in drug trafficking, violent enforcement of territory, and strict internal discipline. Rivalries with other outlaw motorcycle gangs often erupt into bloody conflict. By 2022, federal investigators were tracking members of the Pagans in the Kansas City area. They found a pattern: planned assaults, coordinated travel across state lines with weapons, and attacks on targeted individuals. These were not isolated acts, they were part of a larger racketeering investigation. May 30th, 2022, Grain Valley, Missouri. On Memorial Day weekend, members of the Pagans waited outside a business for a rival. When their target stepped outside, Jeremiah Pass-Out Hahn attacked, first with fists, then with an axe handle. He struck repeatedly until the victim collapsed. Surveillance footage captured the incident, leading to federal charges for assault with a dangerous weapon in aid of racketeering. September 3rd, 2022, Topeka, Kansas. 3 months later, the Pagans planned another attack, this time crossing into Kansas. They scouted a hotel where a rival club was staying. The plan was to ambush a lone target, but one member hesitated and the group left without acting. Though no one was hurt, the planning and intent still qualified as a federal crime under racketeering laws. September 17th, 2022, Blue Springs, Missouri. 2 weeks later, the Pagans struck again. 3 members ambushed a rival motorcyclist on the road, forcing him off before one member shot him 7 times. The victim survived but was seriously injured. According to investigators, the attackers were rewarded by the club with new patches, symbols of status earned through violent action. These events, connected by planning, coordination, and loyalty to the club, became part of a federal case targeting the Pagans MC. The charges went beyond assault. They were tied to organized crime operations. It was an interstate conspiracy. These men had crossed both literal and legal boundaries. The government saw it for what it was: racketeering. The motive was club loyalty. The goal was intimidation. The method was violence. Eventually, McGowan, Hodge, and Reynolds were arrested, but the process took time. It required more surveillance, witness testimony, and ultimately physical evidence. This shooting became one of the most serious charges they faced. Unlike the attempted attack in Kansas or the axe handle assault earlier that year, this time someone nearly died. The ambush showed just how far members were willing to go, following a target by car, forcing them off the road, using firearms and leaving them for dead, all connected to the Pagans Motorcycle Club. When the court saw the full picture, it was clear this was not simply a group of bikers in heated disputes. It was a violent, organized network operating with strategy, weapons, and purpose. This incident marked a turning point in the investigation, giving prosecutors a concrete example of the kind of violence the club both committed and rewarded. After the attack, law enforcement escalated their efforts, raiding homes, seizing weapons, and pursuing more members. By the end of 2022, investigators had gathered videos, witness statements, phone records, and physical evidence linking multiple violent incidents directly to the Pagans MC. The most critical development came in May 2025, when Magawan, Hodge, and Reynolds pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit assault with a dangerous weapon in aid of racketeering, as well as using a firearm during a crime of violence. These were not minor offenses. Federal charges like these can carry decades in prison without parole. The admissions made clear that this was not random violence. It was organized action intended to advance the club's influence in the region. In May 2023, authorities executed a search warrant at the home of Colton Reynolds, finding a stolen handgun believed to have been used in the earlier shooting, ammunition, body armor, club patches, and other personal items linking him directly to violent club activities. The presence of body armor indicated preparation for armed resistance. This physical evidence, combined with confessions, solidified the government's racketeering case. But one name remained unresolved: Jeremiah "Pass Out" Hahn. Known for his role in the 2022 axe handle assault, Hahn was not just another member. He was actively involved in multiple attacks. In May 2023, nearly a year after the initial assault, law enforcement spotted Hahn in Missouri. He fled, leading officers on a high-speed chase that ended in a crash. Inside his vehicle, police found a stolen Smith & Wesson M and P Shield handgun. As a convicted felon, Hahn was prohibited from possessing any firearm. Hahn faced charges for assault with a dangerous weapon in aid of racketeering, attempted assault with a dangerous weapon, possession of a stolen firearm, and being a felon in possession of a firearm. He pleaded guilty to all counts, facing up to 20 years in federal prison with no possibility of parole. Court records revealed the axe handle attack was part of a broader effort to intimidate rivals and gain standing within the Pagans MC. These events exposed the club's operational structure, orders issued, tasks assigned, and loyalty proven through violence. The arrests and guilty pleas did more than remove a few members. They dismantled a significant part of a coordinated criminal enterprise. The case was built under RICO statutes, traditionally used against organized crime syndicates, demonstrating that federal authorities viewed the Pagans MC as a structured, strategic, and dangerous organization. The investigation was a collaborative effort involving federal, state, and local agencies. Intelligence sharing and coordinated enforcement efforts ensured that no incident went unconnected. The evidence revealed a pattern: interstate travel, armed assaults, and a culture that rewarded violence with status. By the time the dust settled, what began as an axe handle assault in Grain Valley had spiraled into a full-scale federal case involving attempted ambushes, shootings, and organized retaliation. The case proved that not all criminal organizations look like traditional street gangs. Some hide behind the image of brotherhood, leather vests, and motorcycles while operating with the precision of any major criminal network. And while several members are now behind bars, the story of the Pagans MC in the Midwest is far from over. Where loyalty and violence intersect, the next chapter is always waiting to be written.